So in today's episode, we're going to be talking about communication lessons from the Tower of Babel.
The eyes may be able to see, but without a heart, you cannot feel.
What's up, everybody? This is George C.S. Samuels, and you are watching episode 49 of The It Will Come Show. Now, the inspiration for this actually came from a conversation I had with the COO of the company that I work with during the day. And yes, I do have a day job, just in case you're wondering. So in that conversation, we were talking about how within the organization, there's a lot of different tools being used by a lot of different people, all right? And this is a large organization. And I know that this isn't something that's uncommon for a lot of growing businesses. You know, it's commendable, first of all, that the employees are actually trying to solve their own problems and find ways to fix what's immediately in front of them. And that's actually, if you look at it from a just human behavioral point of view or general social psychology point of view, most people do always seek to fix their immediate problems. Just without looking at the whole scheme of things, that's okay. But the reason why the Tower of Babel came into the conversation was because when it comes to organizing a large group, you know, think of a nation, right? You want to be able to have some set defined baseline of communication standards. Yeah, so with the Tower of Babel, in that story, essentially after the Great Flood, everybody on the earth spoke a common language, one language. Imagine that, great. But then they decided to build their own tower called the Tower of Babel to reach the heavens. Now God came down, saw what they were doing, and then kind of didn't like it and was like, all right, you know what? I'm going to give you all different languages so that you can't communicate with one another. Now, rereading that story, I was like, that's kind of weird. You know, and kind of cool actually. But, you know, that is the story of the Tower of Babel. And it is a good story to be able to deal with what you have in a growing organization, growing startup, when you're trying to figure out a process or a baseline set for communication. For you, if you're watching this, you may be, you know, a solo operator, or you might be part of a team that is having communication issues. One thing that I will recommend is that if you are having a trouble with communication and even people bringing in their own tools, right? These tools, remember from episode 48 over here, I talked about how getting different tools to achieve what you're trying to do is fine. But when you're dealing with a large company and you're wanting to move everybody in the same direction, you need to have the baseline set of communication rules, all right? So if you're in a team, work with the whole team to figure out, okay, what are the set number of tools that we're going to use? Everybody agree on them. And then if you're going to bring in any other tools, make sure you set up a process as to what people should do. And in order to enforce that, make sure that you have the catalyst, the main person or team leader, lead that and lead by example. And then also make sure that anybody who's new coming on board, that there is an onboarding process to explain to them, these are our baseline communication tools. And if you do find a solution to make things better for us, here's a process to do that. And that will allow everybody to know where they stand and how to move forward together, as opposed to just you know, operating on their own and then unintentionally creating silos. All right, so remember, it will come.
The eyes may be able to see, but without a heart, you cannot feel.